Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. All right. Are you noticing all the corruption in our judicial system? Left and right, we are seeing judges who think they have some authority issuing rulings that they have no authority whatsoever to make. Okay. As I've said many times over the years, this is the typical Democrat playbook. Try to throw a monkey wrench into everything, force everybody to go through court to prove they're right, but in the process they get 6, 8, 12 months to bask in the glory that they stopped something they saw was a injustice upon the world. This is the stupidity about it. Now, I'm no judicial scholar or anything, but somebody needs to inform these judges of the Constitution and the three separate but equal branches of government that we have, and those are the Supreme Court, the legislative branch, and the executive branch. Not some little pissant judge who is on a federal bench somewhere who wants to make a name for himself. You know, considering the judges that have made a name for themselves in the last year, Mershon, Erdogan, I don't know if you necessarily want to be in that company. But so yesterday, we had two big rulings come out of federal benches that, like I said, have no legal standing whatsoever. One, that the Trump administration cannot ban sex change operations on minors. Yes, this was a judge that actually said this, okay? That we need to allow children to decide to cut off body parts or to have body parts created from other body parts, right? Okay. You know, we don't have to make any matter of the fact that, oh, I don't know, kids can't drive a car, kids can't buy beer, kids can't join the army, you know, kids can't own a gun, yada, yada, yada. But no, kids can make the decision because they are so mentally competent to cut off body parts. Because, oh, Mom, they picked on me at school, right? Okay. Sorry, it's puberty. We all went through it. But the bigger one yesterday, this came out last night, was a judge ordered a freeze on Trump stopping all the U.S. aid given, you know, funding these LGBTQ dance parties and comic books and all this sort of crap, you know, testing monkeys to see how well they perform, you know, how well they can gamble when they're on cocaine, you know, that this is the kind of crap our money. And a judge said, no, this money's got to keep being spent, okay? This was the silliest. I mean, I want you to listen to this quote. This is what the judge actually said, okay? Trump officials failed to explain why a blanket suspension of foreign aid programs was necessary before the programs were thoroughly reviewed. Okay. First off, who were they to explain it to? Right? Okay. You know, Trump officials failed to explain to whom? Right? They explained it to Trump. Trump is the ultimate decision maker, period. As I said yesterday, Congress wants to push a budget through, Senate passes it, the House passes it, and then the president has to sign it. If the president doesn't sign it, it doesn't pass, and therefore nothing gets put into play. The ultimate authority on what happens is the president. So what happens? Trump authorities didn't go into the bathroom and watch Donald Trump stand in front of the mirror and say, you know what? I think funding gay comic books in Ecuador is a stupid idea. Well, stop it. And that's it. Okay. This is the crap we've got going on. And you know exactly where this is all going. Okay? It's because they're trying to divert attention because, oh my God, somehow, some way, we've got to cover up all the corruption, all the criminal activity that we've been involved in. You know, that there's some politician, I don't know, state level, local level, federal level, going to these judges and saying, you're gonna put this down. You're gonna rule like this because the congressman or the state representative or whatever has his hands so deep in the cookie jar, he knows exactly what's gonna happen when this all blows up. I mean, look at Maxine Waters' quote. Maxine Waters, okay, quoted, "We don't know what they have on us." Oh, so you're admitting there's something out there. You just don't know what it is. Oh, trust me, Maxine, it's going to come soon enough, okay? Because the criminal prosecutions of corrupt politicians, of corrupt business leaders, of corrupt Hollywood elites is coming for all of you, whether it is stealing money, whether it is diddling with kids, whether it's human trafficking, whatever you've got your hands in, we're gonna find out. And Maxine, your only hope is that you die before you're prosecuted. But there's some people out there that aren't lucky enough to be death warmed over already and well past their best by date. You have an advantage. You'll probably die first. But you look at this and you go, we've been the conservative, the prepper, the patriot community, whatever group or subset that you want to consider yourself in, we've been screaming about this, not for years, but for decades, about the corruption that we're getting stuck paying for, that we're suffering because of, right? And nobody ever listens. We've been called conspiracy theorists since the phrase was coined somewhere back in the early 1970s. That, oh my God, these people are just making stuff up and there's no truth to it. Until there turns out that there is truth to it and we were right all along, and they've done backflips trying to convince themselves that what they're doing is totally illegal. I mean, you look at just some relatively recent ones that have come out. The lab leak theory. God, we all talked about this from, I don't know, maybe February of 2020. You know, remember it was COVID, December 19, that this came out, that was a leak from a lab. No, it wasn't. It was a wet market. It was all every bullshit reason they could come up with. Except now we're finally hearing from the CIA that, yeah, this was leaked out of a lab. They're admitting it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We could talk about MK Ultra, the mind control stuff that was going on. No, we've been talking about that for decades. But finally, the CIA is admitting that was true, okay? We could talk about fluoride, Elizabeth Warren's big idiotic comment here. Fluoride in drinking water isn't bad for you. Yes, it is, okay? Oh, you're going to have people's teeth falling out. You ever looked at the ingredients on a tube of toothpaste, you dumb witch? Okay, there's fluoride in toothpaste. You know what it also says on toothpaste? Do not swallow. Why? Because fluoride is not good for your internal organs, okay? But yet we're putting it in the water. Gee, we've been talking about this for decades and nobody listens, okay? We don't even want to go into all the other chemicals that are in water that, oh my God, we've got to treat the water, we've got to clean the water, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what? I get mine out of the ground. I got a well in the backyard. There's no chemical plant between my house and the well. There's a filter, yeah, to get rid of stuff like that, but there's nothing added, just stuff taken away. And you know what? I'm still here, and I have all my teeth too, okay? We could talk about the Department of Education and the $1 billion in one day that Elon Musk found of waste. One day so far, we found $1 billion in waste in DOE. We went from one of the top school systems in the world to one of the worst in the world of civilized nations in 2 generations after the Department of Education was created, because we had to start making people learn on some sort of idiotic government level. You ever seen any of these examples of kids doing new math? Okay. How to add, I don't know, 46 and 13? You know, rather than you do this column, they do this column, and you're done. No, we got to count the 10s, count the 1s, put all this together, and all of a sudden something that used to take 3 seconds for a kid to do, now it takes 2 minutes for the kid to do. The idiotic stuff. But no, the Department of Education, I'm sorry, but I don't think kids in Mississippi need their curriculum decided by educators in Boston. Little difference. The math is the same. The history's a little different, okay? But what's important for those kids to know? It certainly ain't the crap that the administrators in Boston are coming up. They're trying to change history. They want to make George Washington black. No, we need to teach the kids the truth. And the way you get that is by a series of checks and balances. One person doesn't make all the decisions on education. It comes through, and the teacher looks at this and goes, "This is bullshit. I ain't teaching this." That's the way it should be, okay? How about prescription drugs? There's a pill for that, right? Another conspiracy theory. Oh, because the politicians are in the pockets of big pharma and big food. Hey, you've got to get them to eat Frosted Flakes. Make sure they tell them how good it is for them. Right, yeah, okay. Sugar and overly processed food. Got it. That's working real well, okay? Well, you know what? After we get them, addicted and obese and on all this stuff like that, then we can give them a pill for that one, and we can make money on that side too, right? Except we already find out now that somewhere near 200,000 people in the United States are killed from prescription drugs, not from the disease they're taking them from the drugs themselves, okay? Hey, go have a Diet Coke if you don't want the sugar. Guilty on those, okay? Try to change it to something different. Oh, all those artificial sweeteners, they ain't good for you either, all right? We just go into one after another, after another, after another of this crap that our government is our enemy, people. We need to think about this. We, in November every other year, go in and put a check mark next to a box for whomever we want to destroy our way of life. We're putting these people in place. It's time we take them out of place and put people in who actually have the best interest of the country in place. We did that with the president. And now we are seeing all these corrupt officials underneath trying to do everything they can to stop progress, to stop going forward, to stop common sense be initiated. Because it's more important to them that we poison ourselves, that we send all our money to foreign countries, and that we cut off kids' body parts. Where in the hell is the brain function of these people? This is getting nuts, guys. And you had a congressman the other day from California, Democrat, who actually said that Democrats need to take up weaponry and fight against conservative patriots. All right? I want you to understand that. This is a sitting congressman who wants bloodshed. Think about that. This is what's coming. This is what you're getting ready for. This is why you prep, because they're losing and they're just going to get more and more and more insane trying to save their own butt. Like I said the other day, these congressmen aren't saying they're going to pick up weapons. They're trying to goad the American people into doing it against themselves so they can sit in their ivory tower and watch. When weapons do come out, the last person I want to be is a member of Congress. Pinball out.